Let's be honest, when's the last time a movie made you laugh so hard you had to pause and catch your breath? The truth is, the best parody films are often the ones nobody talks about. Forget the classics, everyone's already seen a million times. Today, we're digging up the hidden comedy gems that rewrote the rulebook on spoofing Hollywood, then set that rulebook on fire just for a punchline. Ready to see what you've been missing all this time? You might want to clear your schedule because this list is about to drop some seriously underrated geniuses. UHF 1989. You ever wonder what happens when you give Weird Al Yankovic total creative control and tell him to do his weirdest? Welcome to UHF, a movie so bizarre it feels like a fever dream you somehow remember perfectly. Weird Al plays George Newman, a hopeless daydreamer who inherits a failing TV station and immediately turns it into a chaos-fueled playground. Picture this: a talk show hosted by a janitor, commercials for Spatula City, and sketch parodies that jump from Indiana Jones to cooking shows without warning. The film bombed when it first dropped, buried under the weight of blockbusters like Batman and Indiana Jones. But it's grown into a cult classic for people who love their comedy fast, random, and absolutely relentless. Michael Richards, before his days on sitcoms, steals every scene as Stanley, a janitor whose childlike excitement is the heart of the movie. UHF doesn't care about being polished. It throws every joke at the wall, and somehow, most of them stick. If you want to see a movie where the strangest ideas get prime time, you need to stop sleeping on this one. Walk Hard, The Dewey Cox Story 2007. If you think music biopics take themselves too seriously, Walk Hard is here to smack them across the face and steal their Grammy. John C. Reilly steps up as Dewey Cox, a fictional rock legend whose life story is every behind-the-music cliché you can imagine, except funnier, louder, and way more unhinged. The film absolutely obliterates the formulas used in movies like Ray and Walk the Line. Tragedy, addiction, redemption, it's all here, but played for laughs so sharp they'll leave you with whiplash. Dewey's journey is filled with insane left turns. He cuts his brother in half with a machete, accidentally reinvents every genre from rock to disco, and tries out every bad idea you've ever heard about on a tour bus. The music is legitimately catchy, the cameos come in fast, and the jokes don't just land, they crash right through the living room wall. For a film that flopped at the box office, Walk Hard has built an army of fans who swear by its twisted wisdom. Want a comedy that refuses to play by the rules? This is the movie that wrote its own playbook, then ripped it up on stage. Top Secret, 1984. Take the creators of Airplane, put them in a blender with every World War II spy flick and Elvis movie ever made, and what comes out is Top Secret, the zaniest, most overlooked parody you've never seen. Val Kilmer, in his very first movie, stars as a rock and roll heartthrob who stumbles into a mess of espionage, resistance fighters, and sight gags that hit you faster than you can catch your breath. Every frame is stuffed with visual puns, jokes that sneak up from the sides, and absurd bits of slapstick that could only come from the Zucker team. There's a backwards Swedish bookstore scene that's so weird and perfectly timed, you'll swear the editors were magicians. Top Secret doesn't just parody war films. It parodies the entire idea of taking anything seriously. For those who crave jokes per minute, this movie fires faster than a machine gun in a cartoon. It's a comedy time capsule, but it still feels fresh, fast, and hilariously unhinged. Black Dynamite 2009. Black Dynamite is the parody that walks into the room, flips its collar, and dares you not to laugh. Set in a world of swaggering tough guys, jive-talking hustlers, and out-of-control conspiracies, this movie is a shot-for-shot love letter to the blaxploitation films of the 70s, except every shot comes with a sly wink. Michael Jai White is the title hero, a kung fu-wielding, smooth-talking vigilante with more confidence than sense. He's on a mission to avenge his brother and clean up the streets, but the film isn't just making fun of old cliches. It's using them as ammo, then blowing holes in the wall just for fun. Low-budget continuity errors, over-the-top zooms, and dialogue so cool it borders on nonsense. Black Dynamite nails every detail with affection and pure comic timing. It's impossible to tell where the homage ends and the send-up begins, which is exactly what makes it brilliant. This is the movie that'll have you quoting lines for days, even if you've never seen the films it's roasting. Not Another Teen Movie 2001. Before parody films lost their nerve and started recycling the same gags, Not Another Teen Movie went all in and roasted every high school flick you've ever pretended you didn't watch. The setup is simple. A new girl enters the most stereotypical school in movie history, where every character is an exaggerated, cartoonish version of a 90s teen trope. Chris Evans, long before he picked up a shield, delivers a performance so ridiculous you'll barely recognize him. The jokes are fast, the references are everywhere, and nothing is safe. Not the makeover scene, not the big game, not even the slow clap at the end. But what makes it work is how committed everyone is to the joke. The movie knows it's absurd and leans in harder every minute. Sure, it's packed with slapstick, but it also has a weird respect for the genre it's mocking. If you survived the late 90s and early 2000s, this one's basically a time machine, but funnier. Deux, Parody, 1993's. If you ever wondered what would happen if a comedy crew broke into the Rambo universe and started rewriting the action, Hot Shots, Part 2 is your answer. Charlie Sheen takes center stage as Topper Harley, a hero with more biceps than brain cells, caught in a parody so ridiculous it turns bullet-riddled jungle battles into slapstick gold. The film doesn't just poke fun at action movies, it vaporizes them. Visual jokes land every few seconds. Look out for body counts that flash on screen like video games, and a love interest who's more melodramatic than a soap opera. The food fight scene? Legendary. This is a movie that loves its own chaos, riffing on everything from Stallone's shredded physique to the endless, overblown showdowns that defined a decade. Sure, it's silly, but it's also one of the sharpest reminders that the action genre was never meant to be taken so seriously. If you missed this sequel, you missed one of comedy's most joyous explosions. They came together 2014. Ever feel like every romantic comedy is basically the same movie with different actors? They Came Together grabs that idea, throws it in a blender, and serves up a smoothie of absurdity. Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler play the most on-the-nose rom-com couple ever. He's a big city corporate drone. She's a quirky small business owner, and their meet cute is so cheesy you'll wince and laugh at the same time. The film is stuffed with every cliche you've ever rolled your eyes at. Misunderstandings, best friends who exist just for advice, and breakups caused by the dumbest possible reasons. What makes it sing is its absolute commitment. There are no half measures here, just a headfirst dive into the world of heart-shaped chocolates and accidental confessions. David Wayne directs with a wink, making every line feel like it could turn into a punchline, and often does. Missed this one? You owe yourself a rewatch of rom-coms just to get all the jokes. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist, 2002. Imagine someone took an old kung fu movie, dubbed over every character with their own voice, and then inserted themselves into the plot as both hero and punchline. That's Kung Pao, Enter the Fist, a parody so dedicated to ridiculousness that it loops back around and becomes genius. Steve Odekirk is the chosen one, a martial artist who faces off against evil masters, killer cows, and a tongue that has its own subplot. The film is built on an actual 1970s Hong Kong action flick, but the original footage is reworked with digital effects, new dialogue, and jokes that ping-pong from slapstick to totally surreal. The villain, Betty, is both menacing and bizarre, and the plot never takes itself seriously for a second. This movie was made for the fans who never grew out of laughing at the badly dubbed martial arts classics, but it's so out there that you don't need to know the genre to have a blast. If you missed Kung Pao, you missed one of the wildest spoofs ever put on film. MacGruber 2010. You know the guy who could defuse a bomb with a paperclip and some gum? MacGruber takes that idea, strips away any actual competence, and turns the whole concept into an action comedy train wreck. Will Forte plays MacGruber, a mullet-wearing, hot-headed hero who fails at almost everything except getting in over his head. The film stretches the original Saturday Night sketch into a full-on parody of action thrillers, complete with slow-motion entrances, over-the-top villains, and training montages that go gloriously wrong. Kristen Wiig plays the loyal sidekick who somehow survives it all, and Val Kilmer is the villain who just wants to win. What makes MacGruber special isn't just the jokes, it's the way the cast plays everything as if they're in a deadly, serious blockbuster. Every plan backfires, every cool move goes sideways, and somehow, the movie is all the better for it. If you skip this one thinking it was just another sketch movie, you've missed a comedy with more life than most big-budget action flicks. Mystery Men 1999. Before superheroes dominated every corner of pop culture, Mystery Men was already poking fun at the idea of unlikely heroes in a city that doesn't really want them. Ben Stiller leads a misfit team that includes a man who can only turn invisible when no one is looking, a guy whose superpower is throwing forks, and a woman who channels vengeance through a bowling ball containing her father's skull. Yes, you read that right. The city's real hero, Captain Amazing, gets himself captured, so it's up to the B team to save the day. The jokes are as weird as the heroes themselves, and the visuals are just as over the top as any comic book blockbuster. What sets this film apart is its total sincerity. These underdogs are losers, sure, but they believe in the job and you kind of root for them. The movie flopped at the box office but has since become a cult staple for anyone who likes their superhero stories off-kilter and absolutely unpredictable. If you want a parody that saw the comic book craze coming before anyone else did, Mystery Men is the one. Johnny Dangerously, 94. If you thought gangster movies were all about grit, shadows, and hard-boiled tough guys, Johnny Dangerously shows you what happens when you swap bullets for banana peels. Michael Keaton is Johnny, the nicest gangster in town, a guy who'd rather crack a pun than a safe. The film takes every old-school crime cliché and exaggerates it until the genre's barely recognizable. Dialogue comes at you with a wink, thanks to memorable side characters like Roman Moroni, who mangles the English language in ways you've never heard. The plot moves like a comic strip, with rival gangs, speakeasy brawls, and fake family drama that escalates for laughs. What really makes this parody soar is its cheerful disrespect for tradition. Characters deliver lines with the kind of timing that would make vaudeville jealous, and the gags never let up. Johnny Dangerously didn't make much noise when it premiered, but its loyal fans know it as the comedy where the punchlines hit harder than the gangsters. Galaxy Quest, 1999. Some parodies are out to destroy what they mock. Galaxy Quest loves its subject so much it ends up reinventing it. This send-up of classic sci-fi TV lands right in the sweet spot between mockery and tribute. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Alan Rickman play the washed-up stars of a cult space show, now scraping by on convention appearances, until real aliens mistake their cheesy TV drama for a historical record and beg for help. Suddenly, these actors have to be the heroes they pretended to be. The laughs come from inside jokes about fandom, acting, and low-budget sci-fi effects. But what sets Galaxy Quest apart is its surprising heart. It's hilarious, but it's also genuinely moving, a parody that celebrates the power of believing in something bigger than yourself, even if that something started as a Saturday night rerun. If you skipped this one, you missed a masterclass in balancing satire and sincerity, with a cast that never lets a joke or a moment go to waste. The Hebrew Hammer, 2003. Ready for a parody that goes places nobody else dared? The Hebrew Hammer is a low-budget, high-energy send-up of holiday films and detective stories, starring Adam Goldberg as the world's only Orthodox Jewish action hero. He's got the fedora, the attitude, and a mission to save Hanukkah from Santa's evil son, who's determined to wipe it out forever. This movie is packed with gags about holiday tropes, blaxploitation swagger, and a hero who's as much about self-deprecating humor as he is about justice. The production values are purposely scrappy, which just adds to the film's underground charm. The Hebrew Hammer isn't afraid to go for the weirdest possible punchline, or to take a hard left turn when you expect a right. This is a cult parody for people who've seen it all and still want something unexpected, and who don't mind a comedy that swings big and hits even harder. So, what's the verdict? Are you adding any of these to your must-watch list, or did we just roast your all-time favorite? Either way, comedy's best-kept secrets are out now, and it's your move. Hit the comments with your own picks, subscribe for more deep-dive movie chaos, and don't be shy about sharing this with someone who needs a real laugh. Remember, the funniest films are often the ones you least expect. Keep digging, you might find your new favorite parody.